welcome to my final video for the first phase of SPFBO9. That is the self-published fantasy blog-off, the 9th iteration of that contest founded by Mark Lawrence to shed a spotlight on wonderful self-published fantasy. As one of the 10 judges, I was assigned 30 books. 30 books that I decided to whittle down to 5 semifinalists, which I am also whittling down to 1 finalist that I am going to forward to compete with the other 9 finalists from the other judges, and 1 self-published fantasy will rule them all at the end of the contest. And now I am delighted to say that I have found my 5th semifinalist. And this was a very tough one. Actually, all of the semifinalist decisions have been very difficult. This may have been the most difficult. I had a wonderful time with each of these 6 reads, but I had to pick one of them as a semifinalist. At the end of this video, I will tell first which of the 6 is my semifinalist, and I will give a brief review of it. And then I will reveal the book that I have chosen to be the finalist that I am forwarding to compete with the other 9 finalists for the entire competition. And so, let me begin with the 5 wonderful reads that are not going to be semifinalists, but I still highly recommend, especially for the right audience. Let us begin with Centernia, Return to the Castle by Rose Catherine Kahn. The feline-featured inhabitants of Castle Orumais fled a decade before the novel takes place due to the after effects of a deadly mage feud. Of the 3 remaining inhabitants, which include Misa, Terran, and Nico, Misa seeks to destroy the Mage Aura, a quest that leads her to Earth, where she enlists her cousin, the violin-playing high schooler Jessica. Tossed into Centernia, Jessica struggles in a strange world to help her cousins. This is a highly imaginative, YA-leaning fantasy. Next, we have Tales of Sand and Stars, a Luminous Lands novel by Juliet Vane. 17-year-old Nima is the storyteller of the Kingdom of Sand, but her own past is a mystery, a story of its own. When the ruler of the Kingdom of Stars, a trading partner with the Kingdom of Sand, demands Nima's presence, she must use her stories to survive and to save her people. With its desert setting and storytelling premise, Tales of Sand and Stars conjures 1001 nights, but it has a lyricism and a magic of its very own, and I enjoyed this read extremely. And next we have, among the 5 books that I highly recommend but are not going to be semifinalists, The Diamond Device by M.H. Thong. I'm sorry if I missed Tao. It might be a hard T. I'm not sure. I'm very sorry. I'm mispronouncing your name. But anyway, the read is wonderful. It is a steampunk, actually. Steampunk fantasy with a focus on diamond power, which promises to upset society and even to replace steam in the process, eliminating many jobs. In the midst of this really rich world building, we have Alf Wilson, who comes from the working classes and has a clockwork leg, and Lord Richard Hayes, who is not what he seems, as he relies on burglary, in fact, to fund himself. So a bit of a con artist. In any case, these 2 make possible some exploration of social class in a time of social dislocation, as they become unlikely allies whose first move is a jail bust. And then we had A Low Country by Morgan Shank. This is a brilliant and atmospheric fantasy western focusing on Sharla, the protagonist who resolves to pursue the Claw when they raid her town and abduct her lover, Ren. Through the Tablelands, she must survive bandits, monsters, and rune-born mages. Throw in the Watchmen and drug cartels, and it's a nail-biter as to whether Charla and her outlaw band will make it. This is a fast-paced story with a surprise or two in store for the reader. And finally, among the 5 reads that I thoroughly enjoyed is Witch Stone by Mandy Odell. This is a very well-written book with a great sense of humor, and it features Rossi, a half-witch, in the sense that she has a gemstone embedded in only one of her hands. There's supposed to be 2, and that makes her an oddity and possibly something exceptional. A warlock, not the natural friend of a witch, shows up, and it turns out that they have something in common. A monster that is hunting them. This story includes some really fun creatures like unicorns and trolls, and it is quick and lighthearted. And now for semifinalist number 5. I will be mentioning the other 4 semifinalists shortly when I announce my selection for the finalist. However, let's focus for a moment on semifinalist number 5, which is Church of Thieves, book 1 of the Church of Thieves trilogy by I.Q. Malcolm. Now, I felt in some ways that this was a slightly less dark version of The Lies of Loch Lamora. That's the quickest pitch I can give. The Lies of Loch Lamora being by Scott Lynch, book 1 of the Gentleman Bastard sequence. The Church of Thieves is a very clever and fast-paced book with some witty dialogue, and it includes layers of deception and intrigue, moral grayness, and a religious organization that is ostensibly dedicated to the unfortunate but is in reality devoted to thieving from the wealthy. Among the acolytes of Kuvar, characters like Neria and Talus are caught up in the intrigue and the danger, but there is also an element of the found family in this story, not to mention some heart, which is one of the reasons why I really enjoyed it. There is actually some heart among these thieves. This is a great story for fans of rogues who are in way over their heads in a race to uncover a dark secret that is much bigger than they could have imagined. And I highly recommend it if you're up for a quick-paced adventure. And now, let us review the 5 semifinalists that I have chosen from the 30, and they are A Gamble of Gods by Mitriel Faywood, Bob the Wizard by M.V. Prindle, Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang, and number 4 was Shadows That Bind Us by Amber L. Werner. And finally, number 5, Church of Thieves by I.Q. Malcolm. And I feel like I should have some kind of a drum roll or sound effect of some kind here, because this is the moment of truth. The finalist that I am selecting from the 30 books that it was my privilege and honor to read for SPFBO number 9 is Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang. And congratulations to Morgan Stang for putting together such a wonderful read. In fact, my thanks and congratulations to all 30 of the authors. I know all of them worked extremely hard on these books. They poured their heart and soul into them, and it really does show. I cannot believe the quality of the self-published fantasy that I got to read as a judge. And I am so excited for the next phase of SPFBO9, because now I'm going to get to read the 9 other finalists selected by the other judges. And this is going to be quite an adventure. I am positive that I'm going to encounter a lot more just wonderful reads. So, that is it for me for now. Look out in the future for my reviews of those other 9 finalists. Until next time.